Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Blooming Lotus Healing Channel. My name is Jikara, and I'm a spiritual healing facilitator. And today I'm going to talk about a subject that I've been following for the past week. I'm actually recording this today. Is Thursday. It's 5:38 p.m. Eastern Time, and I've been following the Titanic submersible or sub that was the story behind what was happening and all of that. And I was feeling this feeling this thing around it that felt kind of karmic, and I'm gonna unfold into that. And one of the things that I'm going to do is to tap into the consciousness of that area of the Titanic wreckage to find out from spirit what exactly is karmically happening here, and what message can we bring forth to prevent things like this from happening again, and also connect to the truth of, or at least one perspective, which is an Akashic perspective of what it means to have this need to go see this space, this place that it's at the bottom of the ocean. So before we get started, just kind of want to drop into gratitude and thank everyone who is part of the Cosmic Light Activation membership. Thank you so much to my supporters. You are the backbone of this channel, and I'm so grateful for you. So I'm going to celebrate you at this moment and just share my gratitude and love. And for those of you who want to support this channel beyond liking and subscribing this video, I want to invite you to go over to my website, thebloominglotushealing.com, sign up for my email list so that you know when I open the doors to this membership next. At this moment, I just kind of wanted to also invite everyone to, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, to go ahead and subscribe so that way you know when I go live next or when I post a video next. And please share and like this video if you find this video helpful. So let's dive into this conversation. If you don't know what's been happening for the past week in regards to the Ocean Gate submersible, then I'm gonna bring you into a little bit of understanding of what's happening. And so for those of you who don't know, there's been a lot of I guess I didn't even know this until this whole thing happened, that there's been a lot of uh, a lot of excursions happening at the Titanic wreckage location, especially because there's been this intense need to recuperate the bodies of the people that passed on, and also just curiosity, I believe, in regards to what is down there and what happened. So I just kind of wanted to just mention. So I went into Wikipedia. This is basically from Wikipedia. So the Titanic sank back on April 15th, 1912. So that's 111 years ago. So 111 years ago, the this ship wrecked and it hit the iceberg. If you've seen the movie Titanic, you know basically a little bit of the story. James Cameron, I kind of wanted to mention something that James Cameron said today, like about an hour ago, or I don't know how long ago, but he was mentioning some things about how he saw some similarities in regards to what happened this time around with the submersible and what happened here with the Titanic back in 1912. And that really just, I was just so amazed at the fact that he saw that those parallels, because I was like, yeah, like I was feeling the parallels in regards to the energetic, almost like as if there was like some sort of program that was driving this situation forth. And I think at one point I was feeling frustrated and angry at the fact that things weren't really done properly, and this vessel where these five people went into wasn't necessarily uh passed through for safety, and it didn't really have all the things that it needed to have to be able to be safe for people to travel down at the bottom of the ocean. And that was one perspective that I saw. However, I did find in YouTube, there's this other guy on YouTube, which I happened to find his video, and he goes by, the videos in Spanish, but he goes by Alan XEL Mundo, Alan E. Alan X El Mundo, which is Alan, I guess, X, and then El Mundo, which is the world. And so he basically about 10 months ago went and he took the Ocean Gate submersible, and I'm not really sure if it was the same submersible or not that he took. That he went down, and he said basically that he was down there for, I believe, only 40 minutes, even though it was said that he would be there for 4 hours by the company. And so anyway, so that I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'm not really sure what was happening there. I would like to, and if you know anything about it, or if you know more details about it, please let me know in the comments, so that way I get a little bit more clarity. But I do want to tap into the energetics of this, and what exactly is it that we're witnessing here? Because everything that I see, of course, and that I look around in my everyday life as a spiritual healer, is that I'm always looking for the significance, the spiritual significance of things. But I can't speak today. But anyway, so I kind of wanted to bring in the conversation of programming and the Akashic Records, and how this programming is so real. And I am devastated by the fact that this happened, and I feel terrible for the families that that lost their loved ones to this. And my hope of this video, of sharing this video, is to hopefully bring a little bit of perspective that feels, that gives a little bit of understanding of the karmic entanglements that come from these programs that are really running on the background and are expressing, and this is an example of how they express. And hopefully this can bring a little bit of an eye-opening perspective for everyone, beyond the expression of what's happening right now. Of course, everything that's happening right now, it's terrible, and it can feel scary, and it's definitely not, it's not where we want to head towards, right? We don't want to head towards tragedies like this ever. And my hope is that we can start, questioning these intense, things that we want to do, and start asking, where is this coming from, and why do I want to do this, right? And start looking at these things from that perspective, versus, kind of just going with the flow, just allowing ourselves just to drop into that reactivity, and then ending up in situations that are not for our highest good, such as this specific one. And it is not up to me to decide if this is for the highest good of those souls that passed on. Of course, this is, fully a sacred path for every single soul that was experiencing this. And so I'm trying. I really want to be very careful with this conversation. I don't want to be callous in what I'm about to say, and I'm praying that spirit just allows things to come through, so that everything that it says here is coming from a higher perspective, and nothing but love and understanding and compassion into the space. So anyway, so going back to the conversation of what happened. So of course, we've got Ocean Gate that was offering these submersible experiences for about $250,000. You could come down and experience, to see, or at least see the wreckage of the Titanic. And based on what this Mexican YouTuber that I was watching earlier today, he was mentioning that, one of the things that they say is that that's about 8 hours, 2 hours, I believe, to go down, and then supposedly 4 hours to be there, and then 2 hours to go back up. Now, that when he said was that was what he was given when he first, joined, or first, was getting ready for this, what is it? Excursion. I was going to say experiment, because there's also an experiment and excursion. But what happened was that when he went down there, he mentioned that he didn't really get the chance. I think he got only 45 minutes or an hour or something like that to actually get to see the actual, or maybe, no, I lie. He was mentioning that for another excursion after his, but for his, I believe it was 2 hours. So he was able to be there for 2 hours, and after that, then they had to go back up, because he was mentioning how the safety was a big issue, and they were trying to mitigate any risks going down. Now, he mentioned that yes, that we're very big about risk taking and mitigating any risk. So, of course, they don't want to, a company doesn't want to be responsible for somebody's, death, of course. And so, anyway, so with that said, he said that that was the experience, and he mentioned on this, and this was 10 months ago. So he mentioned 10 months ago how he recommended for people to wait a little bit until the company really figured out how to make the submersible a little bit more, a little safer, before they went down and took excursions with them. So I don't know how many people really got to see the video, and it's in Spanish too. So the video, and this, granted, it's got about 4 million views right now. However, I'm going to assume that part of that 4 million views has to do with the fact that all of this stuff was happening. But all of the people that were the submersible were English speaking. So, I mean, I'm not going to assume they don't speak Spanish, but let's assume that they didn't. I don't believe they may have not seen that video of his. And so either way, what I'm trying to say here is that, the all of the situation and the way it played out, it was really eerie in the fact that when we look at the story behind what happened at the Titanic, which also James Cameron mentioned that he directed that film on 1997, and he says that that he is struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster itself, where the captain was repeatedly warned about the ice ahead of his ship and yet steamed at full speed into the ice field on a moonless night, and many people die as a result. And the reason why he says this is because the CEO, who happened to be at the submersible this Sunday, he was warned by engineers and other employees and other people about the safety of this specific submersible. And so he decided to charge ahead, just like the captain of the Titanic was warned, and he continued with the journey, even though there were warning signs, right? And so it's such a sad story and such a sad ending, and so unnecessary, right? And so, but what I want to do right now is I'm going to take a moment to tap into spirit and really ask about the programmings that were there at those coordinates. And the reason why I'm going to ask about this is because I was watching some videos from people that have, like, this woman who was saying how she was desperate to go and see the Titanic, and how she wanted to go, and this is like her dream and her life's work and what she wanted to do, and there's many people who want to do this. And I really want to call you to really see if you're feeling this intense need to go down to the Titanic, to go retrieve. There could be a subconscious program that is coming from a past life, right? A past life where you most likely either were someone who either witnessed and survived, or someone who passed on, or someone who was left behind, or maybe that's one aspect, or the other aspect could be that you could potentially have a connection with someone, right, that passed on the Titanic. And because of that passing, right, there's that essentially that loyalty to that ancestor that is keeping you wanting to go back and retrieve, wanting to go back and connect to that energy of that space. And I feel like there's an energetic vortex in that space that can potentially be the reason why this happened. And so, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to connect to spirit and ask for the coordinates. The coordinates were found back in the 80s. I believe in 1985. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Spirit to connect me to the coordinates, the consciousness of the coordinates, and find out any information about any programs that could potentially be affecting people at this moment, who are wanting to go desperately to see the Titanic and the wreck, or to connect to that wreck in some shape or form in a way that they can't explain. So again, this is something that it's coming from a place that you can't explain, almost like you feel this need, this loyalty, this impulse that nothing else can take away. Then most likely you are dealing with a program. But we're going to get some confirmation from Spirit on that. So just give me a sec here. I'm going to connect. Spirit, do I have permission to connect to the consciousness of those who are at the wreck? No. Okay. Do I have permission to connect to the consciousness of the coordinates of the wreck, of the Titanic wreck? Thank you. Spirit, I am looking at the coordinates 41, 43, 32 north, 49, 56, 49 west. Are we connecting to that? Please connect to the consciousness of these coordinates. Thank you. All right, so immediately as I connect to the consciousness of this coordinate, I do see the dark night, and I do see ships, not a ship, but boats. I do see boats, and I see lamps. I see quietness, and I hear the ocean, the waves. I hear crying of children, babies, women. And I want to ask to the coordinates, the consciousness of that space, do I have permission to ask you questions at this moment? Yes, thank you. I'd like to know at this moment, can you specify for those who have been visiting the coordinates of this space, can you tell me, is there any connection of the people who are going to these coordinates in today's day and age? Is there any connection at the spiritual level to the Titanic for these people? I'm getting yes at 100%. Okay, is the connection to this coordinate, the wreckage of the Titanic? Can you tell me, are these programs specific to past lives? No. But they are past life programs. Yes. Okay, so are they other type of programs that are not specific to past lives? Yes. Are these programs also ancestral? Yes. What's the percentage that that it would be from past lives? So about 38% past lives. Okay. And the rest would be ancestral? Yes. Ancestral in some shape or form. Okay. What is the percentage of accuracy of this, please? Thank you. 100. Okay. So I'd like to know, Spirit, is there anything that can be done prior, or can be done to clear these programs for people so that they don't have to feel that sense of urgency to go visit this space? Yes. Okay. And when we clear, can we clear the programs? Okay. Can we clear loyalties as well? Yes. Okay. Spirit, I'd like to know, with the people that were in this incident for this Sunday, do we have any permission to get any information from them for them? No. Okay. No, that's okay. No problem. We'll leave it alone. We respect their privacy. Thank you. So this is generalized in regards to the Titanic in general, those who are interested in the Titanic in general. Okay. Is there anything else you would like to say at this moment in regards to those who want to see the Titanic? I am hearing that there are programs related to fear, subconscious belief of going back to retrieve those loved ones, going back to retrieve their own bodies or the bodies of the loved ones, going back to retrieve things that are dear to the heart. Going back to retrieve in the ocean, and I quote, "What is mine?" Going back to connect and release the grief of the loss. I'm getting a message from Spirit, and I'm going to say it exactly how it's coming through. Gently accept what has passed. Gently accept what is. Gently accept what is not yours to keep. Gently accept what must be. Let go. Let go of the belief that you must come back. Let go of the belief that you must arrive at this destination. It's not time to go back, but rather time to move on. Move on to the speed of light. Grace is underway. No longer the pain. I'm getting, this is not making sense, but I'm saying the child must await. No longer in sync. It's time to release. It's your time to release. I'm seeing also the presence of energy that has been calling out for these, for them to be found, for them to be found and seen. All of these souls were there and they felt like they were left behind. And now I'm just going to ask Spirit to send love and healing to that space so that these souls can receive the love and witnessing that they are calling for. Send the soothing light, the soothing love. soft pink light into that space, bringing comfort for those souls, that their descendants, and let this express into all timelines, all dimensions, all expressions of these souls, to their family trees, to their descendants, and beyond. Thank you, Spirit. Is there anything that we need to know, anything else that we need to know about that wreckage? Okay, I'm disconnecting from the consciousness of the coordinates of the wreck, of the Titanic wreck. Thank you. So, based on what Spirit has indicated here, is that there is a connection to either a past life or an ancestral connection to those who need to go see the wreck, right? And so my invitation to you, if you're someone who is wanting to go down and wanting to see the space and wanting to connect to the space, and you feel this intense need to go, I would sit and write down why. Why is it that you need to go see the space? Take a moment to meditate, to connect to your heart space, to connect to yourself, and ask yourself why. Why is it that you need to connect to the space? And then you'll be able to determine if it is because of your ancestral lineage or if it's because of a past life. And either way, if there's anything that I can do to help in regards to supporting that for you, I'll be happy to help. However, you can connect to yourself and decide if this is something that is really driven by your higher self, or is it driven by a program or by a loyalty. And so if we're being driven by a program or by a loyalty, is this really us? Is this really for our highest good? Right? And that's where we want to, that's what we want to connect to. That's what we want to understand. Right? If it is for our highest good to get there, to go there, then absolutely go for it. But if it's not, if you're feeling a little bit like, a little bit off, like, yeah, maybe it's not really me, then it's probably a good idea to think about it twice before you take an expedition of this kind. It is a huge, well, first of all, it's a huge sum of money, but then it's a huge risk of your life. And so risking your life for something that that, first of all, for at a submersible that wasn't even ready, right, to take people, or it was ready but it wasn't properly managed. We don't know all the details, but all I know is that it is a life and death situation. And so connecting to that and saying, is this really what I want to do? Is this really where, and this is one example, right, that I was just so called to talk about, because I could see so clearly the energy parallels that were happening here. And I was just so grateful that James Cameron kind of came up and he said that too, because it was like, yes, like, you see it, you see the parallels, and I saw it too. And so really recognizing that, these spaces where, this was such a emotionally charged location. A lot of discordant energies are going to be present there. A lot of not only discordant energies, but programs were created there. A lot of things that happened for so many people, and everyone was being hit by it in a different way. So imagine all of that coming together in that space, in that portal, right? Entering into that portal, it is bound to happen. Something that is not for your highest good can potentially happen in that space because of how much discordance is in there. So I would recommend to really think about it, whether it is with the Titanic or something else. Is it for your highest good? Is it really going to activate something for you? Is it really going to help you connect deeper with your ancestry? Or is it just a loyalty that an ancestor wants you to pay forth, right? Or is it a program of a past life that where you were actually there and you were looking to reconnect to that space, right? So you really want to pay attention to that. Now, if your past life is calling you to Egypt, to go to the pyramids, and there could be risks, right? Going, traveling and all that, but typically the risks are not as intense as going into a situation like this where really there is a lot of risk. So obviously using our common sense and our it's an important, and that's another thing that my husband was telling me yesterday. There's no common sense, but anyway, I believe that there's common sense, or at least logic, or at least let's use our internal guidance or internal GPS to really recognize when it's really us or it's just a program playing a part here. So I don't want to continue talking about this. This was something that I really felt was important to talk about. um I just felt so much for these souls, and I really feel my heart felt love and condolences for their families. It's such a sad day to witness this, and really it's been difficult since Sunday, right? Since they lost contact with their mothership. And so I really hope that, um, in some shape or form, the message here is felt, which is, remember that there's so much more to us than just this present moment. There's so much more. We are multidimensional, and we are affected in real time by these programs, and let this be an example of that. I couldn't tap into the information for the consciousness of the souls that went through that, and that's perfectly fine. It's not for the highest good to connect to them, but I'm pretty sure that they had some sort of programs related to the Titanic. So either way, I'm gonna send all my love to their families. I'm praying for them, and praying also for them to pass over to the other side with grace and so much love. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to say. I love you all. I hope that this video helped you see, or at least helped you connect a little deeper into this conversation that it's happening right now, and to see maybe a different perspective. So please subscribe to this channel. Please make sure you share and like this video. And I'm going to go ahead and end it here. And I love y'all. Namaste.